Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. Oh, isn't it cute, this little banner? That's so cute. We'll keep that on today, I think, because I know, and my daughter actually just sent me a little photo of the cherry blossoms out in Vancouver. And today here on the Gold Coast, we've finally got some nice sunny weather. We've had a few showers this week, so let's have some flowers as the border this week. I hope you are all well. And, well, it's been a rather odd week on the Gold Coast. We, as you know, we've got the Commonwealth Games started. And of course, for months, we've been told, you know, we can't guarantee you'll get anywhere. The traffic will be really bad. You know, it may, and we live about 30 minutes from bit more, maybe 40 minutes from surface, like right downtown in surface. And we were told, you know, expect probably 4 or 5 hours allowed to get to. Well, it's been like a ghost town. Trips that have normally taken us 30 or 40 minutes, we're taking 20. I've never seen the road so empty. I don't know where anybody's gone. I don't know where everybody's gone. But it felt like we're living in this alternate reality. Like we're not even really here. Somebody's just taken us out of the Gold Coast. And so we're somewhere else. But it's just been very, very strange. I just realised I'm not plugged in. Oh, here we go. That'll be better with the sound, I hope. Just realised I wasn't plugged in. So hopefully we are going to be back to normal pretty soon. We're heading in today, my husband and I, to look at and take part in some of the cultural festivals. A friend of ours has written an opera, a children's opera, and that's showing in Surfers Paradise. So we're really looking forward to going and checking that out today and seeing, just getting really involved in all the atmosphere of the Commonwealth Games. So wherever you are, I hope you are enjoying your weekend already, or you may be sitting already. Because I know you've already been for your walk, you've already done your meditation, I know you've done your tapping and probably your journaling too, right? 7:30. If not, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about why bad habits are so hard to break. Now, if you can hear me, can you just let me know if you have any trouble, if it's okay, because I don't want to miss this. This is one of those topics that I've actually spent quite a lot of time this week doing a lot of research on this, because I really wanted to know for myself why for so many of my clients find it so difficult to change habits. So I've spent a couple of days on this, and you know when you hey Deb, hi, lovely to see you here. You're up early taking those dogs, beautiful dogs, for a walk yet? Gorgeous puppies. Deb's got a great Instagram following where she has Samoyed puppies, and they're just adorable. Oh, they're so cute. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. All right, I get dragged off so quickly. Why are habits so hard to break? So I wanted to find out this week. So, you know, when you do a lot of that sort of research, really engrossed in it, you know, following the 2 and 20 principle rule, shut everything down for a couple of hours. It ended up being about 4 or 5 hours, actually. I allowed myself to do some. And then finally, after the end of it, I just had this huge aha moment where I got it. It's like, I get it. I get why this is so hard. And that's what I'm going to share with you today, because the minute I got this, it was like I could see why everything we do, why I'm always encouraging you guys to visualize and meditate and stick to habits and take a long time. It all kind of just connected, and it was just so wonderful. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you today why habits are so hard to break. And then I've got eight strategies. Now, you don't have to do all 8, but you might find a couple of strategies in here that I'm going to share with you to help you change the habits you want to change. So I'm going to get straight into this. So we will finish right on time around about 8 o'clock today, this morning, or wherever you are in the world, whatever the top of the hour is, we're going to be trying to finish that right on time today. Right. So
whenever you try and make it, we've all done it, you set an intention to change something, whether that be you're going to eat well, whether that be you're going to exercise, whether that going to be you're going to stop procrastinating, whether that's going to be you're going to stop judging others and yourself, or whether that's going to stop negative thinking. Whenever you set an intention to create a habit, what happens is that it's the actual prefrontal cortex, so the frontal part of the brain, that is actually involved in that decision to change a habit. However, in order to actually have a habit, or a habit that we do automatically, involves our limbic brain, the emotional brain, and in particular, a neurohormone called dopamine, which is the feel-good transmitter. And what we do is, whenever we have a habit that makes us feel good, now this is good or bad habits that make us feel good, that hormone is released and that makes us feel good. So it could be a habit that is biting your nails, for instance, because when you do that, the dopamine is released because for that instantaneous moment, you feel better when you bite your nails. Interesting enough, for those who do bite your nails, that's actually acupressure points. And that's why we do tapping actually on the fingertips, because that's acupressure points. But anyway, that biting your nails. It could be eating ice cream. It could be not wanting to get up in the morning because that feels too uncomfortable. So in order for a habit to become a habit you stick to, you have to have this neurohormone dopamine. Now, here's the deal. As I mentioned before, when you want to change a habit, you have to bring into account the prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of the brain. But here's the deal, is our brains are lazy. They don't like change. That's why we fall into habits. We get up at the same time every morning. We'll have the same thing for breakfast every day. We'll do the same thing when we get to work in the morning. We'll have a cup of coffee at the same time. It's like we're on autopilot, because the brain's got so much information it's got to, bring in each day. It's tiring. In fact, it takes a lot of energy for the brain to think. So when we fall into that habit, those easy habits, it doesn't require any thinking. Now, in order to change a habit, I hope you're still with me. I hope so. In order to change a habit, it requires change in the brain. You have to change the neural pathways. And for anybody who's ever heard me do any presentations, I talk about all the time how neurons that wire together fire together. So the neurons in the brain, when we have habits, they actually wire together. And it's comfortable. It doesn't require anything. It doesn't require you to think. It doesn't require you extra time or effort. It's a habit that just is wired for sound, hardwired. But it's our past that creates those habits. So whatever you did in the past to release stress, anxiety, or fear, the brain goes to seek that habit to make you feel better, to release the dopamine. So whatever that bad habit used to be, or was, or still is, that's what's going to happen. Now, here's the kicker in this, is that the emotional brain, where those habits sit, where the dopamine is released, operates milliseconds ahead of the prefrontal cortex. So what does that mean? So you've made a decision you're going to eat clean this week, right? No junk in the house. I'm going to eat clean. That's my decision. It's a prefrontal cortex thing. The first time you actually eat clean, it feels good. The dopamine's released. But then it becomes hard because the old habits you haven't yet unleashed, you're still feeling dopamine release. So the minute you get stressed, you're not going to go to the new habit because that hasn't become a habit yet, because it takes about 66 days for that to become a habit. You're actually going back to the old habit. That's why we go back to old habits all the time, because they're easier. So the thing is, morning, Debbie, the thing is this, it's not about willpower. It never has been. And that's the key that, when we talk about blaming people or judging ourselves on having no willpower, it's got nothing to do with it. It does in the initial session when you want to say, I want to make the change, But in order for that change to become a habit requires time, and the 8 strategies I'm going to share with you, we're going to pick a few ones. You go back to the old habits because they feel good. Your brain is looking for the dopamine release. And that's why things like, you decide, for instance, you want to get up and you're going to go you're going to exercise every day, right? I'm going to get up at 5:30 every morning and I'm going to exercise. Now, the first time you do it, there's dopamine's released. You go, oh, God, that felt good. I felt so good. I got up, went for a walk. It felt so good. Dopamine's released, okay? But after a few days, you might have, it's cold, it's dark, I don't want to, there's nothing's working. And especially if you want to walk in the morning and you're surrounded by lycra-clad young things with, the earphones plugged into their ears, and you're puffing and puffing and your thighs are rubbing together, it is not a pleasant experience in the beginning. So your brain doesn't want you to do that. It's going, why would you do that? It's uncomfortable. There's no dopamine. It's just cortisol. It's just stress at this point. We want to avoid that. So, but once you've repeated the habit often enough, here's the key. When you've repeated the habit often enough, what happens is just thinking about the habit starts to release the dopamine. And that's why visualization is so important. That's why meditation is so important. Because when you are thinking about the habit, the dopamine is released. When you've started for a period of time, okay? So you've maybe got up and walked and and after a week, it's too hard. There's not enough dopamine being released. You're in stress because it's uncomfortable. Your brain goes, we're not doing that again. It's too hard. Make that change. That's why your vision board is so important. It's why your goals are so important. It's why your intentions are so important, because that's where the dopamine is produced. Make sense? Are you still with me? Is everybody still with me? I hope so. I'm going off on a tangent because I'm just so excited about this. This makes sense. When I'm working with clients, the hardest thing is to break these habits we fall into automatically. But that's why, because they're uncomfortable. And, lots of science around how long does it actually take a habit? Well, how long does it take to change a habit? Some people say 21 days. Did last like fish and chips? Yeah, exactly. I know. Morning, Michelle. I know. Exactly, Janet. That's the whole key, isn't it? We naturally go back to the old habits. And you go, really? I feel terrible after this. I know. I wish I'd stuck with my salmon salad. I'll let you in on a secret, actually, Janet. You know what we did last night? Because we're rebranding at the moment. I spent all day yesterday. Oh, I can't wait to share this with you guys. I'm so excited. Spent all day long yesterday doing a new branding and, just headspace. And so, but it got to 6:00 and Jerry said, well, what do we have for dinner? I went, I don't know. Let's have pizza. Now, I don't normally eat pizza. Oh, I tell you, after 3 pieces of pizza, not doing that again. I know what you mean about the fish and chips, but it's just easy to go back to, it's too hard and let's do something easy. And yeah, I'd rather wish we'd had the salmon salad. We actually can totally relate to the fish and chips. I know. Isn't it amazing? Fish and chips is one of those meals and it sounded like a good idea at the time. And then afterwards you go, what the heck did I do that for? All right, so we're going to change some of these habits. How about that? How about we're going to look at these 8 ways to create permanent change? And one of them I actually introduced this week. I'm going to share this one with, and it's made a huge difference to productivity. And I want to share that with you. So number 1, changing habits. Remember, it's between 21 days. Some say 21 days, some say 3 months, some say 6 months, some say a year. Depends what it is. But it appears to be around about 66 days. I don't know who picked that number, but apparently that's research shows that. So let's say 3 months. Let's say 3 months is going to take you to change a habit. You're going to say, okay, that's 90 days, right? So, April this week, first week of April, I'm going to set an intention to change a habit. It's going to take me till the end of April, May, June, end of June, for that habit to actually become really part of my lifestyle. Okay, 8 ways to create permanent change. Here we go. Number 1. Create supportive, easy patterns. Now, if you want to work out in the morning, go for a walk in the morning, the night before, lay out your workout gear. Have it so you could, as soon as you wake up, there it is right there. You don't even have to think of it. There's your workout gear, your top, your pants, your socks, your shoes, whatever. I've got mine. I always lay out my stuff in the morning. So when I wake up, it's just there. I walk downstairs, my hat's hanging on the hat rack, my shoes are right there, my sunglasses are there, and I'm out the door. I don't even, from the time I wake up and, go to the bathroom and do all that stuff, and the time I'm out the door, actually, sometimes I've even realized. In fact, last week, I think I was walking in the rain. Oh, shoot, it's raining. Because those are the easy, you want to make it as easy as possible to create this change. So find ways, because you don't want your brain to go in competition with you. So when you go, I've got to find something to wear. Where's my stuff? Where did I leave it last night? Well, the minute that starts happening, dopamine stops, cortisol, it goes and you go, it's too hard. I'm going to do this. It's too hard. Next one is break at the chain model. Now, this is the one I implemented this week. This is really fun. And it was actually Jerry Seinfeld who talked about this. It was in his early days of comedy writing, and he challenged himself to write one joke every day. And then when he'd written the joke, he actually put a red cross on his calendar. He had a wall calendar and he put a red cross. And he noticed after a couple of days that it formed a chain. So, the crosses formed a chain. And he said in his mind, I don't want to break this chain. That's interesting. Gives you a visual cue. So I tried it this week. Every time I spent 2 hours, locking myself off, turning everything off every day this week. Every time I did that, I put a red cross. And so I've got all this, I'm not going to break the chain. I'm going to do that every single day. So figure out a way you can create that visual cue that don't break the chain. Number 3, set habits. So when you're stressed, because when you're stressed, your brain goes back, to old habits. So figure out what your triggers are. So for me, the things that are, and I'm going to talk about my habits. I think I said that on the stuff I wrote about today. I'm going to share what I do every day. I'm going to do that later. But the things that I know for me are my triggers, what I need to do. 1 is tapping, 2 is meditation, 3 is visualization, 4 is working out. So I know for me, when I'm stressed, those are things I need to do, 1 or all of them, in order to keep my stress levels under control. So what is it that you need to do when you feel stressed? And that's, in those initial 90 days, it's a trigger. Okay, I'm stressed. What am I going to do to alleviate the stress so I don't get back to the bad habit? Number 4, start with the small stuff. And that's what the 2 and 20 principle is all about. Start small. So 20 minutes for a walk in the morning, 5 times a week. 4 simple compound exercises you do 20 times. The squats, the lunges, push-ups, and tricep dips. And I've changed that a bit for me this week, and I'm going to share the reason why in a minute. Or 2 days alcohol-free a week, 2 days intermittent fasting. That's what the 2 and 20 principle is. So start with the small stuff. Number 5, begin with the end in mind. I've talked about, in the past Facebook Lives, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about begin with the end in mind. So start with a habit that you can implement, that you have, where you've got a visualization. So what is it you're aiming for? You've got to have a why and a what. Oh, hi, Jackie. Finally logged in. Okay, we can kind of catch up on the rest of it. Begin a why and a what. So why do I want to do this? Why do I want to change this habit? And what difference will it make in my life if I do? How will I feel? And a lot of this, remember, because these habits are emotionally driven, you have to be able to feel it. Many of you know I'm a great fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love it. I love his meditations. I do them every day, and sometimes twice a day if I wake up early in the morning. And he talks all about that feeling the emotion. That's because it brings into impact the emotional brain. Okay, so you've got to begin with the end of the mind. Why and what difference will it make in your life? Number 6, uncover the upper limit problem. For those who work with me, I've always recommended reading the book, The Big Leap. We're discovering your upper limit problems, and that's where tapping comes in. Tapping gets rid of those upper limit problems. It goes back and finds the past and how that configured the brain, how the neurons were wired together in the past, where you created the habits to keep you safe. Remember, help you deal with the stress. So that's what tapping does. It unhooks the neurons in the brain for a while and rewires them. So it reduces the level of cortisol as well, that keeps those neurons attached. Number 7, find ways to celebrate your small victories. This is really important because we can get hung up on I've got to have this goal at the end. I've achieved this. And we forget that each day you're making a change, what you're doing is you're taking steps forward incrementally. So I would set up, some guy's fired his boat up out there. Go away. Oh no, it's the lawnmower. Let me just close my windows for a minute. It's the lawnmower outside. Okay. Oh. Okay, it's all happening this morning. All right, here we go. Got me back. Woo! All right, can you just let me know if you can still hear me? Oh, it's all happening. I think I'm still on. Yeah, cool. We're okay. We're on. All right. So where were we? So small victories. Celebrate small victories. Really important that you set up ways to celebrate your victories you have each day or each week. Whether that be you might decide you're going to go out get a manicure, pedicure. Great, Jean. Thank you, Deb. Thank you. Just the lawnmower. Saturday. Anyway, these are the people that mow the estate lawn. Or are they? Anyway, another story. So celebrate the small victories. Yes, celebrate the small. So a manicure, a pedicure. Buy yourself something lovely, new pair of earrings or whatever it is. But find a way to celebrate that. If you haven't broken the chain for the week, really important. And finally, and my good friend Janet Culpert and colleague would know about this too, is be conscious of your network. It's been said that our network, you didn't hear it at all. Oh, no, I did. It's been said that our net worth is determined by a network. And the same too happens when you are creating new habits. You have to surround yourself with people who will support you when the times become challenging. And that includes what you're involved in on social media. I've taken Facebook off my phone, so I only actually get on a couple of times a day now instead of 4 or 5 times as I used to do. But it also, the only problem with that is that I tend to see everything at once, and sometimes what I see I don't like. And what I find is that you tend to go down that little rabbit hole and start thinking about other things. So be very careful of who you're spending time with, and that the people you're spending time with are actually helping you. Yeah, exactly, Deb. That's right. It's actually help. You need the support. So find the support. In our Tap Into Reclaim You group, that's what we're doing. I'm going to be spending more time on that. Just a little sidebar of that is that Facebook have now changing a whole heap of things. I can no longer do Facebook Lives into any group and into any of the groups. So this is why it's on the page. So while Facebook's going through all these amazing changes, there's going to be a few things happening. So we're kind of got to work with it. It's going to work out our fun. I think it's always good, isn't it? Change. I think Mark Zuckerberg's getting a little big for his boots, and so we need a few changes. And I think it's going to end up okay. But we just need to be mindful. There's been some changes, so I'll be spending a little bit more time in that group in the next little while, just while these changes are happening. So use that group to ask questions, and if you're struggling with things, and I'll be there. So that's the 8 things. So is there any of those that you have any questions about, comments about, how you think you're going to implement them? Just let me know. I'm just going to have a sip of water for a minute. Just recovering from the effects of that pizza last night. All righty. So I'd love to know what of the ones that you're going to implement. What habits, what ways are you going to implement this week to change habits, to change a habit that you want? As I said, I did the break the chain model this week. It was great. Simple. I didn't want to break the chain. That was the thing. Yeah, me too. That's exactly right. It's just that visual, Janet, that's like, wow, that's really cool. And it was just one thing, it's that visual cues you're looking for. And it's interesting. It's why, kids love to aim for stars. Remember? And when you got your star sticker chart, it's the same thing. Was that kind of feel good? Oh, look what I did. And then you're increasing that dopamine. Love it. While the habit's becoming, the habit is becoming a habit. Yeah, I will. I'll put those, Deb. Actually, I'm going to put them in. I'll put them in the Tapping to Reclaim You group after this. That's a good idea. I will do that so that you've got something that you can to look at. So I just wanted to share with you, and I said this earlier on, what are the things that I do every day, my habits. And interestingly enough, the intermittent fasting is working brilliantly for me. I'm now down, my weight is now down about where I was about 5 years ago, I think. Amazing, isn't it? It's and easy. It's just amazing. All right, let me share with you what I do every day. So I wake up very early, as many of you know. I'm a very early riser, so I kind of wake up anywhere between 4:30 and 5. I have done, that's one of my habits that I actually implemented many years ago. So I wake up very early. Now, depending on the time of year, because I love the sunrise and I love the dawn. Jeannie, I will. I'll put a link in the group here too. Great, I will do that. What I do every morning, so if it's very early morning, I'll go for a walk first because, as I said, I love to be walking when it's dawn. However, now where we are, at 5 o'clock, it's still dark. The sun's still another 35, 40 minutes away. So now I get up and I do my meditation first. That's the first thing I do. I do not begin my day ever, without doing 20 minutes worth of meditation. To me, it's one of those non-negotiables in my day. I just know my day runs better. I feel better. It's 20 minutes, and then on the weekends I might do an hour. I like to meditate actually lying on the floor. So I get up and lie on the floor, and that habit started when I was working out. I used to meditate after I worked out, but now I get up on the floor. And the reason I like that, because if I'm in bed, I have a tendency to fall back to sleep again, and I don't like sitting up. I actually like to lie flat on the floor, but that you find a thing that suits you. Then after that meditation, I'll tap. I'll do some tapping about whether it's coming up. By then, it's getting dawned. It's dawn's coming. So I'm out the door for my 20-minute walk every morning, regardless. I usually, when I'm walking, am listening to either a podcast. Right now, I'm listening to a terrific book on Audible. And I find that makes 20 minutes go so fast. In that 20 minutes, I will do 2 energy bursts of exercise. So 2 20-second runs. I run for 20 seconds. You can walk. When I get back home, I do 4 exercises. I do 20 full push-ups. I do 20 tricep dips on a table, a coffee table. I do 20 lunges and I do 20 squats, and I repeat that. It takes me about 5 minutes, nothing more. I've had to change that push-up because I've injured my rotator cuff somehow. Don't know what. We can't figure out what the heck I've done. So we're just having a rest. And so instead I have some weights, and I do some bicep curls with weights, and I do some tricep extensions with weights. 5 minutes, done. And then I do some stretching. That's my morning routine every morning. Well, at least 5 mornings a week. I try and have a two-day break. I give myself 2 days of rest. So that's my morning meditation, and it takes about an hour, not much more. That's it. done. Of course, I always do my journal. I always write in my journal every morning. In my day routine, I always try and set aside 2 hours a day if I can. If I'm not seeing clients, I set aside 2 hours a day for deep work, deep thought work. I started off 2 days a week doing that. I'm now up to about 4, where I switch everything off. No phone, no internet. I have my essential oils burning. Not burning, what do they call it? Diffusing. That's the word, diffusing. And I have some lovely music, my deep focus music, and 2 hours of that. I do 20 minutes. I'm getting much, 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 much better at this. 20 minutes, and that's going to be the chain for me this week too. 20 minutes emails, 20 minutes social media at either end of the day. So that's my habits. I do 2 days a week intermittent fasting, usually Monday, Tuesday, where I've actually switched now to doing that 16-8, where you finish eating before 8 o'clock at night, and then I don't eat again until lunchtime the next day. I find I can only do that a couple of days a week because I get hungry. And I'm finding that's really helping with my energy, my focus, my I was going to say memory. I couldn't find the word. My memory. It's I crack myself up sometimes. But it's also helping with my weight, as I said before, back down to what I was 5 or 6 years ago. It's amazing. So simple. 2 days a week, alcohol free. Really, it's not that hard. So those are my habits. And so I started the majority of those really focusing on those in the 2 and 20 principle really back in January. What is it now? April? Yeah, 90 days. Three months for all those to become absolute habits. So that's how easy it is. All right. Now, a couple of things. We're going to now do a tapping in a minute. I also just want to say, if you are struggling with anything, just let me know. I've got 4 spots open this week for discovery sessions. That's it. So if you are wanting to have a chat with me about how you can make some change in your life, if and how I can help you, book in. As I said, I've only got 4 spots this week. Wow, amazing. To do that discovery session, if you're ready now for April, April, May, June, to make these habits just so much easier. Let's do that. Let's have a chat and see if and how I can help you. Alrighty. So we are going to do a tapping session now. We always end up, as I say, with a tapping session, and we're running a little bit late, so we're going to do a quick one today. I want you to think about a habit that you are struggling with at the moment. And I want you to think about what's the feeling or the fear that is behind that, do you think? Because remember, our habits are there to keep us safe. Our habits are there when we feel stressed, because it helps you feel good. So I want to think about a habit you'd like to change. And remember, with all this, be alert to the tapping, but really aware of your thoughts. And we're just going to start on the karate chop point. I have to stop so there. Side of the hand. Not let's say karate chop point anymore. Side of the hand. All right, here we go. Even though I want to change this habit, but every time I try, I feel this fear, anxiety, and stress. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though I find it so difficult to change this habit, it comes from something in my past where maybe I felt fearful, but I'm ready to change it. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though I want to change this habit, I'm ready to change this habit. But there's a block here. I want to know what it is. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Okay, this habit. I want to change this habit. This habit that holds me back. I want to change this habit. This habit that's keeping me feeling safe. What's it trying to tell me? This habit that's keeping me safe. This habit that feels good. I want to change this habit. I want to do something different. I'm ready to change this habit. I want to know what the fear is. I'm ready to change this habit. I'm ready to look at what the fear is. I'm ready to change this habit. I want to change this habit. Okay, take a deep breath and let it go. Any thoughts you have about that habit, write them down. That's what you need to work on this week. Whatever the habit you are wanting to implement, be aware of how it kept you safe in the past. What did the habit do to make you feel good? Remember, the habit was releasing the dopamine, which felt good. So it's going to give yourself 90 days to change this habit. Don't try and change it all at once, but set up little ones, little looks along the way, little things along the way. And if you're struggling with those habits, you really want to fast track them to change them, message me. Let's book you in for a 30-minute discovery session. Let's get this habit changed so you can go on to be brilliant and lead this brilliant life that you are here to do. You're here to lead a brilliant life, not be tied down to these limiting habits that just stop you from being, absolutely brilliant, your extraordinary self. All right. Well, that is the end. We are at 7 minutes past the hour. I've got to sound like a CBC broadcaster. 7 minutes past the hour. If you're also with me, just let me know. Send me a little heart or a like, and and I'm going to leave you and love you. Jean, I'm going to add that link here as soon as I hop off. Thanks, Debbie. And then I'm also going to put those, thanks, Janet. I'm going to put those 8 things into the Tap Into Reclaim You group. Debbie, welcome. Jenny was great. What's the weather like where you are, Jeannie? Aren't you from the US, I think? Or maybe I'm mixing. Just let me know what it's like where you are. I think I've been seeing your feed come through my Facebook. Yes, so Deb, I will put those 8 tips into the Tap Into Reclaim You group. Let me know if you're struggling with anything. We'll watch the replay. Hey, Debbie, fantastic. And Helen, hi, Helen. Great, thank you. We'll talk soon. And we will have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to be doing some Facebook Lives. And I'm going to be doing some Insta stories this weekend from the Commonwealth Games. I'm so excited because our kids, of course, as you know, are in Canada. And great, Michelle, fantastic. We are going to do some stuff so they feel that it's still Friday night. That's right. Where you are. Yeah, exactly. We're just getting started this morning. I think it's 8:00 in the morning where I am. So we're getting started today as you're getting to time to, drill down for the night, turn everything off. Have a nice sleep. All righty, everybody. Have a great weekend. And I will see you all next Saturday. Actually, I've got some very exciting things to share with you next Saturday. I will have our branding. Oh, maybe. Hey, Debbie. Yeah, the games have been great. I'll have something exciting to share with you next week. So until then, have a great week, everybody. See you soon. Bye.